Today, I'd like to share with you a little throwback episode from earlier in the year. It's actually from one of our earliest seasons, back when we were called Have More Time. Because here on the podcast, it's always been my goal to help you maximize your time in the most joyful way possible that will feel successful in the way that you define it, while also putting your family first and enjoying your time with them in the best way. So, one of those ways is obviously through play. Enjoying your time together is so critical. And it's not only critical in your own emotional development with your child and the bonding experience, but it's also important for their own growth and development as a whole. So, today I'm going to share with you the episode all about time with your child and using the positive parenting strategies laid out by Dr. Jane Nelson, the pioneer of positive parenting. And I hope that this helps you, especially while you were on the coronavirus lockdown period. So I know that there's been some feedback from a lot of parents that some of the things that is going on in your routine is trying to figure out how to keep the kiddos entertained while also bonding with them and enjoying your experience with them while you're cooped up indoors. So I hope that this helps. Please let me know in the community. The community is now open at raisingkindness.org, and also download your guide over there that will help you to create the best plan possible and thrive together as a family while you're cooped up during the lockdown. All right, so let's dive in. Hi there, it's Melissa Dillon, the host of More Time Loving Mom Life, to let you know that we're putting that show on hold so that we can do our very best here to support you through the coronavirus pandemic shutdown and quarantine period that's happening all over the country right now. No matter where you are in the world, everything that I cover here will support you to thrive while you are quarantined in your home and juggling work to boot with the kids at home. And hopefully all the things that I cover here will help you through it so that you can thrive and feel less stress and happier with your overall life every day while you guys are at home building a life that you still continue to love. So please tune in and download the guide that accompanies every single episode here at raisingkindness.org or san-diego-gymbus.com. Again, that's raisingkindness.org or san-diego-gymbus.com to get your free guide, The Ultimate Family Survival Plan for the Coronavirus Pandemic. All right, let's dive in. And sometimes to have fun and enjoy life, especially with children, young children in particular, it really helps to have a little toolbox of things that you can do to relate to your child and teach them without getting a bunch of temper tantrums and fit throwing and just at your wit's end and not knowing what to do. We all want to raise children who are kind, loving kiddos who grow up to be adults that are great contributors to our society. And all of that starts with the little things in our home when we're raising them. One of the biggest components of Dr. Nelson's work with positive parenting and taking Dr. Adler's theories and putting them into practice for parents today is the concept of time spent with your children. You can call this mommy and me time, daddy and me time. There's Amy McCready is a big proponent and advocate for positive parenting and has a coaching program. I'll put the link in the show notes below where she talks about, it's called mind, body, and soul time. And being a member of her community, of McCready's community, I've learned very quickly that a lot of parents really struggle with trying to find that time. So today, that's what I wanted to talk about in particular with you. So even though we're opening dialogue about positive parenting, I'll cover it a lot in this show or other shows that are in the Raising Kindness podcast family. But today I really want to talk about that together time with your kids, because a lot of times we can get stuck into our routines and rushing around, and then we wonder why our children are exhausted or not listening or struggling to relate to us and struggling to understand what we're trying to do with our time, and they just want to slow down and spend time with us. I can definitely say that there are plenty of days where I've struggled with this with my own son. We have a 4-year-old at home right now, and then we have our teenagers, well, one that's an adult and one that's a teen still, and they're in and out of the house But our 4-year-old is consistently with us, and every day he deserves to have that time. And every day your children deserve that time with you. So how do you come up with, how do you pull together that time, and how much time is exactly enough time to fill that cup of love for them so that they feel that they have enough attention from you, and they can move on into doing what needs to be done, getting back into that routine with you without falling apart and throwing a fit. Amy McCready suggests 2 10-minute sessions of play of mind, body, and soul time every day. And a lot of parents in her community say that they struggle with finding even the 10 minutes, or they struggle with connecting with their child during this time, or they are struggling with their child throwing tantrums during the mind, body, and soul time. So how do you get past that if you're struggling with that? Are you struggling with that? If you are, please let me know, because I'll cover this a lot deeper, like I said, in other episodes. So let me dive into some to-dos that you can do. So number 1 is set a timer for your time, your one-on-one time with your child. And if you have more than one child, this one-on-one time needs to be one-on-one with each child, so they feel they're fully immersed in your presence. So with that timer, set the timer for 10 minutes. That's a good starting bench point. So taking Amy McCready's suggestion and having 10 minutes of one-on-one time set by a timer. And what that timer does, it's not for your child, it's actually for you. And I didn't know this until I actually experienced it myself, is that when I don't have a timer set with my together time, or my one-on-one time with our son, Bodhi, then my mind starts to wander, I start to feel distracted, I start to notice all the things around the house that need to get done. But as soon as I put that timer on, then I can just let go, and I know that I'm supposed to be fully immersed in him and focused on him for that period of time, and I can just let go of everything else. So the timer will give you permission to let go of anything that's around you outside of your child at that moment. So try that. Try the timer and just set it and let go. Number 2 is eye contact. Make consistent and constant eye contact with your child during this 10-minute period of time, and really see them, look into them, and look into their soul, and look at how their eyes will twinkle back at you and really want to look into you, because that's what they're seeking. They're looking for the eye contact from you, and maybe you haven't even realized how often that they may be looking for your eye contact, for your acknowledgement. But by making eye contact with your child consistently during playtime, you're telling them, I am here and I see you. And you'll realize that they're telling you the same. Number 3 is your together time, your one-on-one time, whatever you choose to call it, does not need to be orchestrated or planned out. So in fact, your child, actually, I'll digress for a moment, because I was going to wander down a path that I don't want to get to yet. That's going to be number 4. But, when it's overly organized or planned out, and then sometimes, you may get attached to an idea about how you imagine your playtime to be, but let that go. I mean, sure, it's a great idea to say, okay, I would love to put out some crafts and see if we can do that together, or our son loves to do science experiments, so we'll look up stuff to do with baking soda, or make a volcano, or make our own slime, things like that. So you might have an idea about, that's a great idea I can introduce to my child, but maybe they won't like it, or maybe they had other ideas about what they want to do with you, and allow that to unfold. So let go of any expectations you may have with playtime. The only expectation you have is that you are both fully immersed in each other, and that it's a time for loving one-on-one attention. That's it. That's your only expectation. Outside of that, all is fair game, all is open, and you'll get to know your child on a deeper level, which brings me to number 4, which is maybe let them lead. So they are so much closer to knowing how to play than you. We're out of practice. By the time we're 12, I've heard this a lot of times from a number of different doctors. I can't cite anything for you right this moment, but too many times I've heard doctors say from a number of studies that by the time a child turns 12, the magic is gone. that their ability for imaginative play has diminished dramatically, and they start to actually lose those connections in their brain altogether. So that's where we're at. Imagine where you're at in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, and imagine how out of practice you must be. And that's okay. That's very normal. There are expectations in our culture that we are a working culture who contributes to society to, add to the bottom line. But it's more than that. Life is about way more than that. And imagine how much more fun life would be in general if we played more. And you can learn from your child about how to play on a deeper level. They're also being encouraged in school, especially if your child is in a play-based school. But in lots of schools, imagination is encouraged. A lot of preschools. So if you have a really little one, or if you have a young elementary student, they still know how to play better than you, and you can get some great ideas about some things that they'd like to enjoy with you. Now, if your child is a little older, I can run another episode on that, because things do change just slightly. And it's a little bit more of a challenge because, again, by the time that they're 12, they start to lose that magic. I know that in my classes, with the preschool tumbling class, by the time the child is about 5.5, I can see that magic is starting to deteriorate already. And I've worked with thousands of kids. By the time they're 5.5, they already start to question the storytelling adventures. They already start to question, whether they should even be involved. They look to their peers to see if it's okay to participate. Yeah, that kind of thing starts to happen. So, you guys can work together to keep that magic going, and you can really learn a lot about how to play in an imaginative way. And my last point would be just really dive into it. Get into it. A fun movie that I would suggest is Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. I'll try to find a link for it and put that in the show notes too. Why not? I love that movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to watch it. It might even be on Netflix. But Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium has a character who's an accountant. And he is dry, he works all the time, he doesn't want to play, but then he makes a friend, and life changes. And he's not even the main character. There are actually a number of little storylines in that story. They're just endearing. So get that, and think about that, and think about the play with your child. I hope this helps. So please let me know. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your time. Your time is so valuable. Okay, so the biggest takeaway here is that I want you to carry with you throughout the rest of the coronavirus lockdown with your children as you're playing is keep that magic going. Now is a great time to really bond and connect. Learn how to play again as adults. So adulting around really takes up a lot of our time, and we have this wonderful, priceless opportunity here to look at this lockdown as a positive experience, as a great opportunity to learn how to play again and to connect with our children through the magic of play. So really dedicate some good time over the next couple of weeks to spend that time together and genuinely get engaged and just let go of that distraction that work may be pulling on you, because I know a lot of you are really struggling to juggle work right now and the kids, but fully living in the present when you are with your children and your family is so wonderful, and it's a great challenge. It is not easy, and I can share with you that I also have my own challenges sometimes. Today, I even had some challenges where I actually mentioned in another episode that I kind of struggled to let go a little bit of, I wasn't working in my time period that I set aside, and I had to let that go. So you can do that too. And with some practice, you can really take command of your brain and its attachments to your schedule and learn how to just let it all go, keep that magic going in your life, and play and have fun with your kiddos. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to download your ultimate family plan on our website at raisingkindness.org. Every week I'll be updating it with new resources for you. So this upcoming Monday, Tuesday, you should get a new release. So sign up now so you don't miss it. All right, I look forward to talking with you next time.